Hi everyone, welcome back to Sunday Nights with Faye Seidler. We're going to have a great show for you about all kinds of things that are happening across this area that you can do or know about or get involved with, which will make you feel better about the world today, probably. Let's get into it. Tomorrow there's going to be a question, persuade, refer training happening in Minot. It's probably too soon for you to sign up or take that, but I'm just gonna share it because it is a entry point to let you know there's quite a lot of suicide prevention trainings that happen all across the state. Our North Dakota Human Health and Service website actually has a ton of them listed, as well as a lot of different kind of resource list of places that provide suicide prevention training. If you've never taken one, I recommend that each individual takes at least one of these. They're usually 1 hour long trainings. Because it could dramatically increase your confidence to be able to support the people in your life who are struggling. So I just want to earmark that's happening tomorrow, and also all of the time, all across the year. If you want to know more, please reach out and I'll teach you. This Tuesday, the school meal ballot volunteer kickoff campaign is happening, the virtual one, so anyone from across the state can check in to learn how they can get involved with making sure that we have the school meal voucher on our ballot. This is now more important because our lawmakers decided that they did not want to feed kids this session. And the good news is, if this does get put into our Constitution, it becomes very difficult to take it out. It would ensure that we as a state prioritize, by necessity, that we make sure all of our kids get fed, and that's something that I like. I hope you like it, and if you want to volunteer to help get the message out, to work on it yourself, please do so. It's very important. Also, by the way, that's being put on by Together for School Meals, and they are kind of the coalition of all the partners across the state doing the work to make sure that we're feeding kids, which is pretty important. If you want to know more about any of this work, I recommend following them. They have a website, a Facebook, and they are active, so please check them out. This coming Thursday, January 29th at 7 p.m., there is going to be a Punks Against Ice punk show happening at, I believe, Parachico. This is going to be an event for folks to go out and basically kind of be part of a crowd and get out some of that stress. There are a lot of things I can say about the current ICE occupation and some of the horrific tragedies that we have seen because of it, but the show is about 10 minutes and I have a ton of stories to cover, so that's not what I do here. If you want to check out my website, I do have different links and information about how one can protest safely and talk to people about how they don't like what's going on today, because I think that's quite a lot of us. But what I want to say in this story is that I think regardless of where anyone is, it is an incredibly stressful time, and we all need ways to reduce stress. We all need ways to relieve stress. And there's a lot of ways you can do that. That could be walking, meditating, that could be getting out and protesting, that could be going to punk shows. But whatever it is, you need to find some way to make sure you are not just sitting in stress all of the time, because that will tank your health. So I want this story to be a general all-purpose, take care of yourself, just like to take a moment to breathe as much as you can. If you want to get more involved in any of this or to be more politically active with it, there are opportunities, but first you need to make sure you are okay in your life. Do you know a 6th, 7th, or 8th grader that would like to write an essay about how they can make a difference in their community? Because if you do, they can, and they can submit it to our National Civics Bee for a chance to win, I believe, $100,000 in future education funding. I think the chances of winning this are probably pretty low, but I think that any effort that our youth put into thinking about how they can make a difference in the community is time worth spending. So this is an opportunity. It is deadline February 4th, so the end of February 3rd. So see if you have a youth who might be interested in trying. I think it's really cool. And if they do that and would like to share that with the world, I would love to share any youth essay I could to North Dakota. So that's a story coming up. Speaking of youth, our North Dakota Department of Public Instruction has actually put together a public survey to get perspective from everyone across North Dakota about what they think our goals should be within education and the experiences they've been having with our education sector. So if you care about our K-12 system at all, or have youth, or anyone really, I recommend taking this. It's a deadline for February 6th, but it's a general survey for our administrators to get a good idea of what just people are feeling across the state. I think it's really cool. I will be submitting information because I have opinions. You should too. Just a quick reminder that February 15th to 17th next month, that was going to be our North Dakota Counselor Association conference. This is an opportunity for our counselors to connect with each other and to also learn skills and resiliency about the world they may face and all the secondary trauma I'm sure they're experiencing constantly. So this will also be a peer support group in the disguise as a conference. That's not their words, mine. But it's coming up. Just let folks know about that. Are you interested in our general queer community across North Dakota? Do you want to be more involved with them? Do you want to create and contribute to an incredible event of education, community, and resiliency? Because you can right now. Our North Dakota LGBTQIA2+ Summit Planning Committee is looking for people to apply to contribute to that. So you can help plan the events that happen. They're looking at their 9th year coming up. So if you're interested in being more involved, you can do that. It's also good for resumes if you are someone who's maybe a student right now. On January 30th at 6 p.m., a Two-Spirit Queer Trans Intersex BIPOC interest meeting is starting. This is an interest meeting for folks from those communities to come together to see if there is an appetite for doing things, whether that be an activity group or support group or whatever the community need might be. It's an invite for folks to come together and decide what that might be. So if there are any folks you might know or might benefit from this, please share it out and get it out there for the people who need it. Are you a geek or a nerd or a general hobbyist of some kind? Are you an enthusiast who would like to talk to folks about your hobbies? Because if any of this is true, then CoreCon wants you. That's one of our biggest conventions in this area, and it's a host to a lot of different kinds of hobbies and backgrounds and interests, like anime or Magic the Gathering or board games, whatever. And it's a wonderful opportunity to connect to other people who share similar interests. So if you would like to talk about your favorite board game and why it's your favorite board game, you can. You can submit a panel for that. If you'd like to have a retrospective of your favorite anime and why you think it's the best that it's ever been made, you can do that. If you want to talk about all your favorite queer animes that ever have existed, that's a panel. Have fun with it. So that is an opportunity coming up pretty quickly, but if you or anyone you know feels like they have something to contribute, you can. If you've ever done things like Fargo Nerd Night, I think it's called, or just made little presentations with your friends, like those are things you can share with other people. Conventions are about community. They are buy-in for communities, and contributing with them can be a way to just be in those communities too. So I want to showcase that opportunity and recommend that you do it. I've been doing it pretty frequently. I often talk about how to use anime or video games to be a hero because that's my life. What's your life? We'll find out. There's been some awful developments within trans healthcare where the federal government is trying to apply pressure to basically eliminate care for trans youth, care that is medically necessary, that is evidence and research based, that is life-saving care for trans kiddos. Our federal administration is saying no. There's a really good summary that P. Flake put together on this, and I just kind of recommend if you're interested to check that out. You can also get involved by submitting commentary. Right now there's an open comment period. One of the efforts are trying to defund a lot of hospitals over providing care for. But if you want to be involved or aware of that, you can check that out. It's not the end of the world in the sense that we are fighting it desperately for people who are medically trained and have a medical background and care about patients, but it is scary and difficult and unfortunate. So it's something to be aware of, and we are fighting against it, and we'll do our best to try to keep people safe regardless. I want to share that in Grand Forks, there is a new crisis drop-in center. It's had 30 participants within the last 45 days. I don't have a lot of knowledge on exactly how it operates, but I'm just using it as a story to showcase that we are in like negative 20 minus days right now. We are in days that are super cold, that are health hazards to be out for even a couple of minutes if you're not appropriately dressed. And it's tough to survive, and there's not enough beds for all the people who have needs, and every day more people have needs because of a lot of economic inequality, and a lot of this is impacting elders. Like, it's not good, and it's important for us to be aware of the need in this area and within these services, and to think about that when we think about how we're organizing policy and how we're helping our neighbors out. So there's been a ton of need, and a lot of our systems have been stressed to the max because of our weather. So just be aware of that and think about it when we are trying to make sure that we are passing budgets and helping people out. There's a really good list that got put out, a comprehensive history of all the things Trump did in office that hurt our LG+ community. A lot of it focuses on trans individuals, but it kind of goes through the greatest hits of last year and what his administration has done. Content warning, all the content warnings, as most of it is very horrific and unfortunate, but I will say most of it is also reversible and easily reversible because it isn't law, it's executive order, which doesn't have that weight. A new administration could reverse pretty much all these decisions, and we can slingshot back and forth between a world that is probably still kind of iffy and one that just sucks a lot. So it's unfortunate that we are still going through cultural growing pains right now, but I do honestly believe that we will get to a point where we can just understand that trans people are real and then maybe start to heal from there as opposed to what we're getting today. So that's a little bit of hope, but it's still rough. So try to take care of the people in your life that you can. Try to take care of yourself as much as you can. I want to highlight the Guerrilla Girls came to Fargo to do a talk on art activism. These are women in gorilla masks that say politically charged things and talk about art in that capacity. I think a lot of their work is to challenge art as an institute as well as society as a whole, as they're intertwined. Art, culture, society, these are all components of the same expression of the culture that exists around us. Art is a mirror to that. We can be disappointed in art upholding our institutes that hurt us rather than being subversive to them in some ways. In challenging art centers to not be neutral in faces of oppression or trauma, that art has always been a tool for individuals to communicate the atrocities of the day and empower people to feel connected and hopeful and organize against them. So I don't know a lot about them, but it's kind of cool they came to Fargo and talked. And I have a story you can check them out with, so checking them out. For my last thing, I want to say there's some preliminary results from the OUT community survey. This is a survey that is still open. Anyone can take it. Anyone in our LGBT+ community can take it about their experiences. However, some data has come out showcasing what we probably could expect. A lot of queer and trans people are kind of going back in the closet. They're trying to move to states that are safer. Their lives are being dramatically impacted by the actions of our institutes and federal administration in ways that's observable and traumatic. I think it's important to know that we often get into intellectual disagreements about different things we feel about the world, but people's actual lives are being impacted in severe and harmful ways because of the opinions people have about queer folks that aren't well-centered or mature and often come from a place of prejudice or hate. I recommend taking the survey if you can. The more data we have, the better. And a reminder that we no longer collect this data within North Dakota. We won't have new data on this for quite some time. As a final bit for the story, I have launched the LGBT+ Safety Task Force. It'll be officially starting in February. I'll be having a general event for announcing it, which will be Saturday the 31st. I had initially planned it to be a longer event, but given the recent events with Minnesota and ICE operations and the National Guard being activated, I felt like doing a really big protest type event about the LGBT+ Safety Task Force wasn't necessarily the time. And people are rightfully focused right now more on what's happening with ICE. So I still have to do the work I do. I still have to be the one that's doing this work for our queer youth in North Dakota, because not a lot of other people are at the state level. But I want folks to know that if they're in any way interested in helping queer folks, queer youth in particular, out across North Dakota, get in touch with me. Just get in touch with me, and I have so many things that's happening to make the world a bit of a better place. So that's what I got for my show. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a good rest of your week. I hope we're all still here and kicking next week. As a final message, I do also want to let people know that today is not forever. As much as it is a stressful and horrific time for so many people, it is not forever. Nothing is forever. We have the capacity at every day to say this is enough, to fight for something that's better than now, to show compassion and hope and healing in ways that we make society better and not worse. I don't think it means tomorrow is easy. I think today sucks for sure, but it's not forever. Nothing is. So we always have the capacity for things to change. And as long as we continue to try to take care of ourselves and each other and advocate as strongly as we can for common beliefs and values about human life and dignity and all that kind of stuff, we still can get to better places. So I want to be that. So I want to leave you with that message of hope. Otherwise, bye.